Conflict in life is unavoidable. One day you will be faced with an enemy and you need to learn how to deal with them. You need to learn how to apply strategy and apply your intelligence so that you come out on the better end of it. And books like this is what really inspires me to understand ancient ideas, understand ancient philosophies and ancient ways about going about things. Because let's face it, we're never taught in school how to deal with other people. We're never taught in school how to deal with conflict, how to deal with resolving these issues. And you know what? Sometimes it comes down to an argument. Sometimes it comes down to a fight. Sometimes you're going to have to use strategy to get your way on other people. And it's better to be equipped with these tools and know how to use them in the extreme moments than not be equipped with them and have the other person exact their will on you. So I will bring you some principles from The Art of War, the greatest general in Chinese history. I'm pretty sure one of the greatest generals who ever lived, Sun Tzu, wrote this book about 2,000 years ago. Maybe it's more. I'm not really sure. I don't memorize dates like that, but this book is ancient, and there's something to be said about a book that lasts that long. There's something to be said about a book that transcends time, that is still in print so many years later, and it's almost like it's begging for us to open up. It's almost like it's begging for us to read the insights and read the knowledge. And today we're going to go over one of the best concepts, which is dealing with conflict. And Sun Tzu's whole thing about war is you never want to go into something head first. You never want to go into something that you are not prepared for. You never want to attack an enemy where it is strongest. You never want to attack an enemy where it has an advantage. And this is the overall basics of it, and I feel like this is pretty self-explanatory, but we can get much, much deeper in terms of what he advises to do. And one of his biggest things is that you don't accept surrender. When somebody is in your way, when there is a clear conflict, you don't allow them to surrender. You crush them completely, because if you allow them to surrender, that is only going to build animosity, that is only going to build rage, and that person in the future is probably going to stab you in the back. So like, let's say you own a company. Let's say you work with a team. Let's say you have somebody in your life that, you know what, maybe they're talking back to you. Maybe this person is underneath you and they're undermining your work. Like, you don't allow them to continue to do this. You don't give them an ultimatum. You don't say anything. You get them out of your life. You get them out of the situation, because just simply sitting down with them and telling them like, yo, this won't fly. Like, you need to give up. You can't do this. Like, I'm your boss. I have this position over you. Like, I'm not going to spend time with you. You keep doing this. Like, people will take this and they will begin to grow with resentment, and then in the future they will find a way to screw you over. And it's a similar thing in the inverse. Like, you have to know when to surrender. Like, you have to know when to pick your fights. You have to know when you are going to lose, and it's better to lose a battle than the war. So like, a big part of this book is that if loss is inevitable, if you're going to lose, always surrender so that you can regroup in the future. And it's very, very interesting to understand it from this perspective, because it's almost the dualistic nature that surrender is actually a victory. Surrender is actually a prolonging of the battle, as long as you aren't at the will of somebody that's just going to do what Sun Tzu says. But you know, that's aside from the point. But to me, it's super interesting to read stuff like this. To me, it's super interesting to read a book that was written so long ago and that has so much wisdom, that has so much applicability into nowadays. And if you look at this book, if you look at who's read this book, like, I'm telling you, you're going to want to pick it up. Like, every great leader throughout history has read this book. Every military general, it's still taught today in a lot of military academies. And I think overall it's just a book that like everyone should read, because it's literally like 50 pages. It looks bigger because it's a hardcover, but again, this book is tremendous. Great book, great insight. It inspired a lot of work that Robert Greene did with the 48 Laws of Power. It inspired a lot of other things. And yeah, this combined with the Book of Five Rings are really, really good window into old Eastern ideologies and old Eastern society. And it's really cool to see it from the perspective of a Westerner. It's really cool to see it from the perspective of somebody that knows nothing about that world but can understand it through the insights of some of the greatest minds. And one of my favorite parts about this book is that it doesn't read like a strategy book. It doesn't read like something a general would write. Like, you think about a general that we have in the U.S. military, like, you think about what they would write, it would not be very poetic. It would not really be artistic. It wouldn't transcend time, because it would be so linear. It would be so grainy. It would be so concrete. This book is very poetic. It's very just interpretive, and you can read behind the lines and get the overall philosophy of the man who wrote it, and that's what makes it so inspiring. That's what has allowed it to transcend the time that it has been published and the time that it has been passed down for years and years and years. And there's a reason books like this are continued to be in print. It's because the information is valuable, and all you need to do is pick it up. So if you're gonna read one thing, I think this is a great start. I think this is a great start, especially in terms of the cutthroat business world that we live in, especially in the days of corporate culture. And it almost feels like we have to have an edge to us. It almost feels like we have to be able to be tactful and strategic and understand the inner workings of other individuals, and understand that inherently you're going to be dealing with people that might have narcissistic tendencies, that might have weak egos, that might have something against you. And it's very, very important to be able to deal with these things and deal with these things well, so that they don't come at the expense of you. So again, I'll leave a link in the book. I'll leave a link to the book in the description. I obviously can't speak now, but I think I gave a good overview of a few of the key main points. That didn't make any sense. I can't speak right now. I'm tired. I'm sorry. I love all you guys. Thank you so much for making it this far in the video. If you want more from me, join my Discord. Look at that link in my description for my school community. So much more of stuff like this. More of my writing, more of my personality, more of the other stuff that I really can't deliver in this format. So check that out. Supports the channel. Thank you so much, guys. Peace out. Love you guys.